Hi everyone, welcome back. So guys, as part of this session, I'm going to talk about two most important things. One is an XPath and another one is a filters. Okay, so XPath means if at all any particular element is there, how exactly we can write down an XPath. So if at all you guys are comfortable with the Selenium, you might have studied about that particular XPath, right? The same XPath we are going to use it here. And if there are multiple elements are there, how are we gonna use this particular filters? Okay, filtering of a particular element also we are gonna study. See, XPath, we recommend prioritizing user visible locators. So guys, if you remember the previous session, right, the CSS, at that particular point I clearly told you that CSS and an XPath are not suggested one. We just need to go with the default locators which was suggested by the Playwright. And if at all the element is not accessible with those locators, in such cases itself you will be going with an XPath. Ideally, the XPath will be written with this particular syntax. Any locator that it is starting with these slashes or these two dots basically, it will be considered as an XPath. Okay, it will be considered as an XPath. So here, what I'm gonna do right now is let me open a makemytrip.com and here inspect this particular flights. Okay, inspect this particular flights and let us see if we have, okay, let us write down an XPath //span open braces at the rate class is equal to. See, I was able to identify one particular object. So here await page dot locator. I can give XPath is equal to, or I can directly put my value here. Okay, and this dot click operation. Okay, perfectly all right. I just want to perform the click operation. So here, put it in the double quotes, the desired the class. That's it. So I have just specified this particular chunk, and here await page dot pass. Okay, the traditional XPath, what we have written in our Selenium, I have written here. If at all you are not comfortable with the traditional XPaths, guys, the simple rule that you need to consider here is, okay, the simple rule that you need to consider is //HTML tag name, open braces, at the rate attribute type is equal to, either in the single quotes or in the double quotes, you need to specify the attribute value. That's it. This is what an XPath syntax is. Okay, this is what an XPath syntax is. Then here within the browser, once after you have identified that particular element, whenever you used a control F, a finder is being populated. When you type your XPath, if it is stating that one match found, which means that that's the valid XPath, and with your XPath, I was able to identify one particular element. So consider that I have a written // button. See here, with this particular button XPath, there are 10 different elements that are there in the web page. That's what it is showing. So the only thing that you need to do here is, once after you have identified the object, whenever you use a control F, this finder will display whatever the XPath syntax that I have shown you here //HTML tag name. So let me elaborate for this particular one. So for this particular object, right? So where is this flights? So right click image. So for this particular object, it does has a tag name as a span. So //span open braces at the rate class equal to, in the double quote, put that particular class value. So right click on it, inspect, and it does has this class name. Copy it and put that particular class name here. So one of a one, I was able to identify one particular object with this XPath. That's it, guys. That's as simple as it is. Now I just copied that particular XPath and I placed it in my program. That's it. Let me pull my terminal and let me update my file name here. Okay, XPath locator. Okay, let me try to run this particular program. Okay, let us try to run this particular program and check it out. So let me close this pop-up. Now from the inspector session, let us try to use this step over. So it tried identified that particular flights. Okay, that icon. Perfectly all right. So this is the way how exactly you can write down your traditional XPath. So the regular way how you are gonna write down the XPath, the same way you will be writing down that particular XPaths. And then the next thing here is filtering of a locator. So how exactly I wanna apply a filter on my locator. So basically, why I need to apply a filter? So consider that here is the situation. Assume that I have a locator. Okay, assume that I have a locator. So let's not go with the locator. Consider that get by role. Okay, I wanna identify a button. So I don't wanna specify any name for that particular button. I wanna identify a button and I wanna perform a click operation on that button. So I know that definitely there are a multiple buttons are there in this particular web page. So let me try to run this command once. Okay, let me try to run this particular command. So close this pop-up and let me try to press step over. Okay, see here, if you look at it basically, so we are getting a strict mode violation exception. The reason is there are a multiple buttons are there in this particular web page. So if at all there are a multiple buttons are there, we have a used an index, and at this particular point we can also use a filters operation. Okay, what is that? We can also use a filters operation. So the simple thing out over here is you can apply a filter based on his text, based on its text. So here I want to go with this particular flight tracker. Okay, I want to go with this particular flight tracker. So here, instead of using a clicker directly, dot filter, okay, dot filter, and it has a text, and I'm using a playwright feature, the copilot auto suggestions, and the text is gonna be a flight tracker. So what I am saying right now, this is identifying all the buttons in that particular web page. But later, we are further filtering that particular desired option, which is having a text as a flight tracker. And then perform a click operation. If you go back and if you check it out, it will try to filter the desired element and then it will be performing that operation. So let us press a step over. See here, the flight tracker is being identified and it's performing that particular operations on it. So this is the way how exactly we can apply a filter. So when you can apply a filter, when there are multiple elements are there, and if you want to filter out one specific element, you can use a filter. Okay. Anyways, while working on the further coding, we will be looking at a further more examples on this particular filter. Okay, perfectly all right. So these are the various locators, and in the next session, right, we will talk about a parent and a child. Ideally, if an element is there, if a parent element is there, if a child element is there, how are we gonna identify that? All those things we will be studying as part of the next session, guys. Okay, thank you very much. See you again in the next lecture. Bye bye.